Hello everybody and welcome to today's severe weather update. So today we have an enhanced risk of severe weather across far eastern Colorado, far southern Nebraska, and central and northwestern Kansas in orange, including McCook and Colby. We have a slight risk extending from northeast Colorado and western Nebraska through south central Nebraska into eastern Kansas. Another slight risk across south central Tennessee, north central Alabama, northwest Georgia. And then we have a third slight risk across far northern New York State near Watertown in the yellow areas. And then we have a marginal risk extending from the eastern Rockies through Missouri into the southeast, and a marginal risk around the upper Great Lakes and northern New England. So looking at today's tornado threat, we have two isolated areas that could see a couple of tornadoes today. One across south central Tennessee, northeastern Alabama, into northwest Georgia around Chattanooga and Huntsville. So make sure you're on guard for an isolated spin-up tornado if you live in this green area. And then we have another 2% chance of tornadoes up in far northern New York State around Watertown. So make sure you're on guard for a couple of isolated tornadoes if you live in far northern New York as well. Looking at the damaging wind threat today, the damaging wind threat is going to be the primary concern, where we have a 30% chance of damaging straight line winds of 58 miles per hour stronger within 25 miles of a location from eastern Colorado through far southern Nebraska into central and northern Kansas, including the towns of McCook, Nebraska, and Colby, Kansas. And then we do have a hatched area, which means that we could be seeing some of these wind gusts in excess of 75 miles per hour hurricane force today. So we're expecting a big MCS to develop across eastern Colorado, move across southern Nebraska and central northern Kansas, and this could be producing some very strong wind gusts this afternoon and evening. So make sure you're preparing for numerous to widespread damaging winds across the red and hatched areas this afternoon and evening. We have a 15% chance of damaging winds within 25 miles of a location in the yellow area across Nebraska, northeast Colorado into southern and eastern Kansas, and then another 15 damaging wind risks across south central Tennessee, northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, and another 15 wind risks across far northern New York State, and then a 5% damaging wind risk in the brown areas from the Rockies through Missouri into the south, and then across the upper Great Lakes. And then looking at the hail threat, we have a 15% chance of quarter-size hail or larger within 25 miles of a location across northeast Colorado, western Nebraska, far northwest Kansas, far southeast eastern Wyoming in the yellow, 5% chance of hail in the brown areas today. So make sure you're on guard for isolated to scattered large hail if you live in these areas today. So looking at the latest, the 12ZH Tribble Run model to time out today's storms, we have a weakening cluster of storms across south central Nebraska that's going to dissipate this morning. And then we're going to see new thunderstorm initiation across southeast Wyoming and in the Rockies of Colorado around 3 to 4 o'clock this afternoon. And as we go through the evening into 7, 8 o'clock, we're going to see scattered thunderstorms moving east into the western high plains, and then going into about 10 p.m. Central Time, we're going to start to see the storms merge into linear clusters producing damaging winds and large hail. And then as we go into around 11 and midnight, this is when the main damaging wind event is going to start across western Kansas, as we start to see an MCS consolidate across western Kansas. And then as we go into 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., this is where we're going to have this relatively disorganized MCS moving across Kansas, producing some 75 mile an hour wind gusts. And then as we go into 3 and 4 a.m., this MCS is going to start to die out across eastern Kansas, and by tomorrow morning, we're just going to be looking at some scattered rain showers across eastern Kansas. So make sure you're preparing for numerous damaging wind gusts and a few over 75 miles per hour if you live across eastern Colorado, south central Nebraska, central and northern Kansas today. Thanks for watching today's severe weather update. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.